Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're coming to you with a PM edition today, as you can see from the shadows. I have got a couple of returns that came in today. Actually got, if you remember the last video, I had talked about how I was supposed to have a return that came in, but according to informed delivery, but my postal carrier did not deliver it to my alternate address. Well, that finally did come in. That's this one right here from Mid-Island, New York. And then also had two returns. Both coincidentally came out of Phoenix. And there's my cat there. And she's wanting to take part in the video for a second here. And if I don't let her do this, she's just going to be a pain because now she's bored and she's walking away. So she's made her cameo and will want credit there. Anyway, back on point. Yeah, so Midland Island, New York was the one I was supposed to get earlier in the week that finally did show up. And then got a pair of returns that came to us out of Phoenix. And it's kind of funny that both returns are coming back out of Phoenix at the same time. I don't know what any of these really are, just because at this point there's so much different stuff. I assume that we're going to be getting some baseball here. This one could be football, it could be hockey, it could be baseball, it could be just about anything. Phoenix, in all likelihood, it's either going to be hockey or baseball, I believe. So let's go ahead and get into these and see what we got. All right, so first one, let's do our Mid-Island, New York. And that one opened up way too easy. All right. Oh, wow. So this is an old one here. Sean Landetta, kicker for the Giants. Gosh, this was one I sent back out, I think back like in the summer. Summer 2020, maybe at the latest, maybe fall 2020. And finally came back here. Looks like he was using a little bit of a burnt out Sharpie, but hey, that's okay. I'm just glad to get it back. I mean, this thing's probably been out better than 6 months or so. So getting that back in is kind of nice. And this was, I looked at this off camera here, and this is just the letter I sent out to him, and says thanks for the letter in there. So cool to get that back. I kind of had that written off as I guess it just got lost in the mail, never get it back, but did get these back. So that's kind of cool, getting those added in. So nice return there. Let's move on to our Phoenix returns. So Phoenix return number 1. This is probably a newer one just because that stamp, that's just a little bit of a unique stamp. So I think this is one that's a little bit newer. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, so kind of newer. Cool. Some Mets love here. Got a nice return coming back from Blaine Beatty. Blaine is always been a good signer. I've been fortunate that I've gotten him in person a couple of times. He's worked as a pitching coach with some teams. And since that time, I had gotten my hands on this Tidewater set card here and wanted to go ahead and get that sent out, and just kind of had a couple of other leftover cards that I had on him. So send it out. This is his autograph. There's a lot to it. It just kind of looks like it's just loops and loops in there, but the B for Blaine and then again the B for Beatty kind of lends itself to that. So good return with that. That was out for only a couple of weeks, and I had held on to some cards of his in hopes that maybe I might see him again somewhere along the minor league trail. But that didn't quite work out, so glad to get that signed. The main one in there was getting that Tidewater card signed, which I've actually been doing pretty darn well recently, getting some of these signed and sending some of these Tidewater cards out. So at some point I'll have to see kind of how many I have for the set, because it's probably better than a half dozen at this point for, you know, a set that was, what is this one, 1989, for an 89 set. To get anything, you know, more than a couple of them is saying something with it. So cool return there, getting another Met there, even though I've gotten him before, got some new stuff signed. All right. on to our other return from Phoenix here. Let's see what kind of stuff we're getting here. All right, cool. So if you remember a couple of weeks back, I had an RTS from a guy from USA Baseball, Willie Adams. Got an RTS, but it also kind of referenced a forwarding address on there. And went ahead and just verified the new address with it, and that indeed was correct. So went ahead and fired those back out and got a return. So this was out for only a couple of weeks. By the way, Beatty was only out for maybe about 2 weeks or so. But Willie Adams, so another guy from the 92 Topps Traded set and the 92 Topps Stadium Club. So got a nice return back here. Did 2 of the 92s Topps and 2 of the 92 Stadium Clubs. And I believe that's 92 Stadium Club. Yeah. So getting those back signed. Glad to see. And that's what I always try to do. You know, I've mentioned it in the videos before with the RTSs that when I get that, I always try to see if there's an updated address that I could just go ahead and get it right back out to. And with some of them, there absolutely are. And then others, it just kind of is like, okay, no such luck with that. Like one of the old school New York Rangers guys from last week, that was one of that batch of RTSs. I'm at a dead end for that one. So I'll just have to chalk that up. And I'll keep the letter and the cards off to the side in the event that a new address shows up. But if not, you know, oh well, I'm out a stamp with it. So no big deal. Interesting thing when I take a look at this, and this is just kind of showing differences with production. If you look at these 2 Stadium Clubs, Willie Adams, and especially if I put them side by side, look at the difference in the color there from the backgrounds, from the one there in the back and the one up at the front. And I'll kind of bring this up a little bit closer here, but if you look at the difference there in the color with it, I don't have any answer as to why that is. Just that it's a very distinct difference from the color scheme on it from one to the next. So I'll kind of bring that up there and really kind of let you see. And I know it's a little bit hard to see because of the shadows with it. I'm going to put it over here to the side. So that's not shadow. So this is definitely a darker card and a lighter card. And it's probably nothing more than just one production run to the next with it. But it's just kind of interesting when you look at these side by side. And, you know, in the craziness right now with the card markets, who knows, people might be saying, oh, this one's worth more because of how it's set up with it. So anyway, let's go ahead and do a quick little recap for our returns for the day. And I apologize. I know like this video is just kind of all over the place a little bit today. Yeah. Don't have a good answer for that. It just is what it is for today. So my apologies, guys, if I'm not up to my normal snuff for how I handle the videos. But for the day, we got a nice 3 returns there. We got the 404 out of Willie Adams. Sean Landeta, I assume I sent him 3 just because of how long ago those went out. And let me get those out of that shine there. 3 of 3 from Sean Landeta, we'll go with. And then Blaine Beatty, we got a nice 5 out of 5 return from him. Man, we got a lot of shine right there. Anyway, that's the 90 score. We're just going to put that right there. And then our other 3 there. So for the day, we ended up with 12 autographs added into the collection. So not too bad for the day here. It was cool. Yesterday, little bonus content for you. Yesterday, I was sitting there and just searching around, and there's one website that I'm a member of, sportscollectors.net. They've got a free version of the website that I've used regularly for years, and then they have a paid version, which it's $15 a year. I've used it one time before for a year with the $15, and at the time I was just kind of doing little bits and pieces of stuff. But this year, I just started it up the other day, and I decided to go through my Mets Cons team sets, which for those of you that have watched my videos know that, you know, that's certainly one of the passions, is working on those sets. And I was able to locate, I think, 6 or 7 guys that I needed in various sets that were actively signing. So went ahead and got those letters put together and got those babies fired out there. And some of these guys, it's mainly like the coaches or just random pitchers. Like I've talked about before, some of these Mets players, you know, they were signed to just like 1-year deals and spent like their whole careers with other teams. And the Mets were just signing all kinds of guys in the mid to late 90s. So there's a lot of different guys that are out there. So found some of those types of people that had been signing, you know, sometime within the last 6 months. So went ahead and got all those together and got those fired out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be getting some cool cons cards returns here in the next couple of weeks and months that follow. And then I got to start working at some point on some of the big guys like the Keith Hernandez's of the world, and not big guy, but Dave Magadan's got a bunch of cards in those. Lenny Dykstra. And I know that some of these guys are doing signings, but I kind of like the challenge of either getting them in person or through the mail. But I may have to suck it up and do some paid signings to get some of these knocked out. So we'll see. I'll kind of cross that bridge when I come to it down the line a little bit. But for today, so yeah, 3 returns, not too bad here. We got some USA Baseball love, some Mets love, and some Giants love. So again, the focused collecting that I preach about so much there, to the point that sometimes people go, okay, we get it, focused collecting. Anyway, hopefully we'll get another video up here in the next day or so. Fingers crossed that we'll get some cool returns here to keep things flowing. So until next time, everyone, want you to make sure you're staying safe out there. I know that things are starting to get a little bit more relaxed out there, depending on where you are in the U.S. or in the world. COVID, you know, little by little is starting to get a little bit more under control, but don't let your guard down. Stay safe out there. I want everybody around for a long time. And still try to make sure to balance that with having some fun, even if it's just the little things. Have some fun when you can, and hope your mailboxes are all staying full of ink. So until next time, signing off, and we shall see ya.